No. So, did you see it happen? The
Yeah.
incident where, like, all you know is Willy got done. You don't know the name of the other guy.
No, didn't know Willy's name either.
Right.
Just
What?
recognised him from days before.
Okay. What happened?
Well, from when they actually stopped us
Hmm.
and all the arguing
That was
started.
about lunchtime, wasn't it? Sort of early afternoon. Yeah.
And they were asking why they wouldn't let us through and whatnot. And I could see Willy from where I was, and he was talking to a officer.
The one with the tash? No.
He was darker one,
Yeah.
grey hair, dark bits and that. He was talking to him, a bit angry like.
Yeah.
The next thing I just saw this hand come over this officer's shoulder
Yeah.
and drag him through. And
Was Willy violent? I mean, we're talking about a guy in the mustard t-shirt.
Yeah.
He's Willy X.
Yeah.
He's one of the organisers. Was he violent or was he just verbal?
Verbal.
Hmm. And then what happened?
Like I said, I just saw this hand come from over the officer's shoulder and drag him into the crowd of police. And next thing I just saw, the scuffle, Willy fighting to get away, and he just disappeared under this mound of police.
Yeah.
And the next thing I saw, his head pop out, just covered in blood, and he was still screaming, man.
Was that outside the van? That was in the open air, was it?
Yeah, that was in the open air.
And then they threw him in the van?
Yeah, they dragged him away, carried him. And he was still trying to get away then.
But he wasn't actually hitting them back, was he?
No, he was just
trying to escape, yeah. So initially, how many attacked him? Was it 2, I heard? Or was that?
Well, one grabbed hold of him.
Yeah.
Another one helped him grab hold of him once he'd got through into the crowd of police. And then there was about at least 8 on top of him. At least 8. Could have been more.
And that was in the van?
No, this was outside. On the floor.
What did the people do when they saw that?
There's just a surge forward, and then all the rest of the police got this linked arms bit in front of them all.
And then Willy disappeared in the van?
Yeah, I went round to the other side, and I was about 2 yards away from him as he dragged him past.
He was in a bad way?
He was absolutely red with blood, covered. Didn't see where it was coming from, but his face was just red.
Did you see what happened when they got him in the van?
No, then all the rest of the crowd sort of surged in,
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether that's the point where the other lad got dragged away.
Do you know about the other lad? What happened?
No, didn't see that at all.
I heard that he went to the aid of Willy and he got dragged in, and also maybe a girl who was with him.
No, I didn't see that bit at all.
Right. One question: Would you be prepared to back this up officially, or you just want to do it like this now? Because it's likely that Willy might want to make a court case out of this. I mean, it's fair enough if you don't want to get involved further than what you've given us. I'm treat this as anonymous at the moment.
If it's before the end of next week, sure, I will.
Well, no, we're talking about months ahead, I think. You're going to get a court case.
I don't know what I have to say about that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'll let you know though.
Yeah. Because as it is, I don't know your name, we can keep it that way, because that way you're not at all involved, but we've got some kind of records of what went down. Because I've been speaking to the police here, the head police here, and he says he doesn't even know what happened, he didn't know anyone was here.
Yeah, I had an higher up officer turn up later after it had all happened, and he said he wanted to go to the hospital and see the injuries. For some reason.
If you get enough people who've seen it, because there is a number of them here that have seen it.
Yeah, I want to get more on to take.
Yeah, and all of them to get
They're not
as
gonna
many
wanna
as possible
give
get
evidence.
briefs and go down there. I don't know, and to the court case.
Well, if we can't get, we can't get named addresses and signed statements in the long run, then there's not much point except for like peace of mind and things. I'm gonna type this up and put it out anonymously, but legally it hasn't got any binding without a name and address. But it was totally unprovoked, was it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, he was just arguing his case about why they were stopping us from going through. Why the blockade was up.
Do you think it was a high-up decision, or it was just an off-the-cuff decision by the two pigs who grabbed him, or the one?
I think you've been.
Don't know really. The officer who he was talking to seemed pretty. You know, he seemed as though he wanted to settle it verbally. If you know what
But
I
it
mean.
was the people behind that
But it was
officer
somebody
who
behind
grabbed
him who dragged him through.
See, what I want to know is, were they acting under orders, or was it just that one snapped?
I got a feeling they were saying get the leaders.
This is what we want to know. Was it
orders, but, I mean,
tempers, or was it a premeditated plan to stamp out the leadership of the festival?
Couldn't tell really. Not
Yeah.
from what I saw from that.
I mean, it's obvious it was because they went for them too. I mean, they went.
Yeah.
You know, it's obvious. What was the point in grabbing him? Like?
Well, I'd also heard that he was walking around with a pint can of lager, giving a lot of verbal abuse out. Was that right?
I seen him with a few drinks, but I never heard any abuse from him. I mean, he wasn't being anything ordinary than he normally was. He didn't look pissed to me. He was just having a drink because it was hot, probably, and it was available.
Because I was there on the hill, but it all happened too quick. The first thing I saw was someone going in the van, and I shouted, "Hey!" Everyone looked at me then instead of the van.
I saw it immediately as it started,
Yeah.
as this arm dragged him,
Yeah.
and the first thing I shouted to anyone was get a camera, and somebody did take a photo of him.
Any idea who?
Who knew him?
Film.
I was talking to a scouser, and he knew him.
Any film should be processed immediately and posted off somewhere, so that in case they do trash the festival in the end. Like, I mean,
The picture came through that
you
he
know,
took it.
you'll have the evidence.
Right there, right in front of him. I'll try and find out who it was.
Yeah, if you could.
I'll have a look round.
In that red car up there. That red car up there. That's what it is.
Have you got light now?
Yeah, sure.
So lad with a three-quarter t-shirt. Scouser.
Circle, couldn't it? He's under with that kind of thing.
I'll go and have a walk around and look for him in a bit.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be really good.
Did anybody's got any pot, do you?
No.
Now we're all looking. It was his mate who told us about the fivers.
Yeah, we stood there and it ran out.
Hampshire Police. That's what I heard.
Did they have numbers on? Did you notice the ones today?
Yeah, I think they did.
Well, then get that fucker's
Do you wear
number or get him
Hampshire
debarred.
Police? Definitely, that's what you wear.
Get that cunt debarred. Apparently the media's been reporting it as quite favourable, and that they've been reporting it today that 2 or 3 people were beaten up by police, things like that. And we've got media a bit more on our side now.
Well, I think what that guy on the corner, what we were talking to, you know, I mean, I know he was a bit of a shit, like, but from what he'd heard, he was listening to those stories, like what the police had said and what you were saying, and I think you impressed him a bit.
Who are you talking about?
The one on the corner when you were, you know, where the house was, where we were parked last night when you got back to it, where you were having a cup of tea.
Oh, the old man.
No, the TV fella.
No, I don't think it impressed him at
fella.
all. All he said was, "Oh, I don't know, please tell me one thing and you tell me something else. I don't know."
That was a different guy, that was today.
Today, yeah, I'm talking about today.
Yeah,
No,
well, I
it's
spoke with BBC, the radio, no, TV, Bristol Radio
Yeah,
did a full thing on everything today, on the news, they covered the whole story.
he was there as well.
Yeah. Well, I did have a word with old people like that, but I don't know if I mean, they seemed to appreciate what I said, but I don't know if they did or not. They might have been fobbing me off, and I've been told that they only had cameramen here and no reporters, so they had their own notes later.
It's fucking pathetic, that, isn't it?
The head pig said the whole thing was just a misunderstanding when he came to the meeting an hour later.
He looked embarrassed, didn't he, in a way?
But he said that's a supposition because I wasn't here and I don't know.
Took him by
No,
surprise.
don't mean this head pig, I mean the head pig who came.
Do you reckon, yeah,
the one who-
That's
who-
a supposition on my
He was
part.
talking to, it took him by surprise because, like I say, it came from behind him.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It was just Hampshire lot, definitely.
Well, I
See,
think,
I think most of the officers today were perfectly willing to talk it out.
yeah,
Most of them.
because like, I was insulting them a little bit and they weren't going for me. They obviously been told to keep cool and not do anything. I think that we might have them on this thing they've done today. Because they've hit the 2 people who will fight back to the bitter end. We've got to get a case out of it. And if we don't get it today while it's fresh in people's heads, then it's going to get distorted.
Yeah.
wish I hadn't fucking witnessed it.
Must have been more than me, so.
Yeah, it must have been a hell of a lot, but
Because
people don't even know he was being
more
bussed
people
yet.
in front of me.
No one knew the names of the people who went, and Alex is quite a well-known person. Because you know Festival Eye, he was the actual publisher for that. He also wrote that big, gigantic back-page article in The Guardian a week or two ago. So. I'll tell you what, yeah, what we'll do, I'll get notes off you anonymously, and then at the end I'll ask you if you want to give us your name, but you don't have to. So at the moment it's anonymous. If you can just tell us in your own words what happened really at that incident where 2-3 people got arrested and there's a bit of violence.
Oh, I didn't actually see why they got arrested. We just saw them getting fucking beaten up.
Yeah. Well,
Like, well, you know, how the vehicles were going down that road,
yeah.
and the police took the keys off someone.
Yeah.
Well, there was something going on behind that big line of policemen that I
Yeah.
saw. And next thing I know, I just sat on top of a vehicle. Next thing I know, like 4 to 6 pigs just jumped on this one lad.
Was he
Started
the lad
beating
in the
him.
mustard t-shirt?
I didn't. He had brown shorts on.
Is that him?
I can't.
Yellow t-shirt,
Yeah,
very
exact-
well built,
Yeah.
darkish hair, is it?
Short black hair.
Short
And
black hair.
I think so. I can't remember that, but I just
Yeah,
remember
we
he
know
had
who it was anyway.
Yeah.
There's no dispute. So what happened? What did you
Well,
see?
I just saw these 4 to 6 policemen jumping on him. Well, not jumping on him, hitting him. You know, blood everywhere. And like, he fell over, and they rubbed his face in the ground. They just tried picking him up, and dragged him to the police van. They put handcuffs on him, and they were still hitting him and kicking him. Then they dragged his face in the ground again, put him in the back of the van. And
Did you see what happened in the van?
no, I didn't see what happened in the van.
Did you see the surge of people after he got taken?
Yeah.
And what happened then?
Oh, just a lot of people shouting.
Yeah.
And not much you could do really, because like,
Mm.
if anyone had started anything, like, they'd have been down in the right gear,
Well,
wouldn't
we
they?
knew that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's as if that's what they're trying to provoke.
But after
Yeah.
they got that guy, they also got a couple of other people, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I just saw like, I think is it someone X?
Willy X.
Willy X. That's it. I just saw him.
But how exactly were they hitting him? Can you be dead specific?
Yeah. Well, I just saw like punches going in.
Not truncheons. Punches.
I couldn't be sure because I'm like fairly short sighted, but I could just see hands going in like that.
Yeah. And then he was
Over
on
the
the
top.
deck, was he?
Yeah, and there were 2 stood by as well, in case the others needed assistance. It was like, I don't know.
Do you personally think that it was a directive, or it was just a couple of people snapping and taking it into their own hands to hit that lad?
I think that I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but they, when I went to superintendent or whatever it was afterwards, they weren't there when it happened. They had been before, and then they fucked off and they came back and it happened.
They closed their eyes probably while it happened.
Yeah, I think it was just them officers going ape like.
Oh, well, we're gonna get them cunts.
It was totally unprovoked. Like I said, after they fucking handcuffed him, they were still hitting him and kicking him. It's like, never seen anything like it before.
No, quite. Yeah. Can you think of anything else I should ask on this? Did Willy X fight back when he was being hit?
Well, he was struggling, but he weren't hitting anyone. He was struggling trying to get free.
Yeah.
Trying to get away from his
Yeah.
yeah.
He weren't hitting anyone. He was just like trying to get his arms free
Yeah.
and his legs.
Right.
He was still struggling when they got him back
Did
at the van.
Was he bleeding?
No blood everywhere, all down his face. You couldn't see his face with blood, like all down the front of it.
Okay.
When I went talking to the superintendent afterwards, asking about that.
Today.
Yeah, because I asked him about that, whether he'd go and have a look at it. He said nothing happened. He said he fell over.
Mm.
I don't know if I said what
You were there then when they said that, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he just fell over on the road and cut himself.
Yeah.
He must have been a.
For a small fall.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, well, we went up asking him, and he says, "Oh, we're going to move back now. You can go up that road now."
It's incredible the way that you can say dead barefaced lies like that, isn't it? You know,
As if
it's
someone's going to
Well,
be shot.
they'd
have
have
to
to get Willy anyway.
Definitely. But I mean, it's stupid because he's been negotiating.
Yeah, well,
with
that's
them
it.
really
It's a
sensibly.
really stupid thing because
So now
now
they've got no one to
now
talk to.
there's nobody here. I mean, there's nobody. I don't blame anybody for not organising it and not speaking to them because that's what you get if you. That's what you get if you speak to them.
Well,
Yeah.
happened, when it's happened all through the 70s with Watchfield and fucking people have died for less than that. Like a roller.
No, that's
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Can Phil Morris contact you if need be?
Who's that?
Phil Morris, if you come down with Phil.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Because I take it you prefer to remain anonymous.
Yeah, because I get a lot of stick-off pigs up home.
Yeah,
I used
right.
to do.
Alright, well, fair enough. Well, I don't know your name. Justin.
Mark Stanway, 51 Walker's Lane, Springhead, Oldham, in Lancs.
Are you on the phone?
Yeah. I prefer not to. Right?
Okay, fair enough. Right. He's actually said to me that it was Alex who got busted. Alex is a friend of mine. Like, so up until then I thought it was just Willy. I know what Willy's like, I know what Alex is like, and I was really freaked out by it.
The thing is what Alex was doing,
Mm.
but he was organising at the front, trying to disperse the situation where you had the vehicles coming round the corner, and what it seemed is the police had put a line up blocking the entrance to where we were turning off, and then the police line broke. A few policemen come from behind the lines. They grabbed him, and then the lines closed behind. He put up a little bit of a struggle
Just to
behind,
defend
saying,
himself.
basically saying, you know, you've got no right to arrest me. What are you arresting me for? And then he was just basically manhandled, pushed down to the ground, and his face was smashed into the gravel. And when he was actually finally picked up and bustled towards a van by approximately 6 policemen, his face was completely covered in blood, and there was blood all over the policeman's clothing. And then he was put into a van where they was restraining him by keeping their feet on him at the bottom of the van.
That was Alex Rosenberg.
That was Alex Rosenberg.
Because I've had exactly the same story as what happened to Willy. So there's no confusion. There's definitely. Oh, G'day stuff. We'd like to invite him in. G'day. Oh, is this Serge? G'day. Oh, thanks a lot. G'day stuff. I just want to make sure that you're not getting mixed up
Alex is the one with the yellow T-shirt.
That's
isn't he?
Willy.
That's
this
Willy.
Is the cock-up, yeah.
Ah,
That's
well then
Willy.
that
So
is
that's
Willy
what
then.
happened to Willy, right? Okay, so I believe now that Alex wasn't even there and that he's safely away somewhere else. It wasn't. Alex didn't get busted. Right. So we're talking about Willy now, right? Well, you've said exactly the same as what 2 other people have just said. I think.
But I didn't know. I was under the impression that it was Alex because this particular guy actually came down to the lay-by in Somerset where we were yesterday.
But Alex did come down yesterday with Sid
at the petrol station when everyone was filling up.
in a mustard t-shirt. That was
Was
Willy
it Alex?
But Alex came down with Sid Rawls and he was going backwards and forwards to Glastonbury doing the shuttle.
Alex has
People
got
who want
No,
to-
this was definitely the guy in the yellow T-shirt that came down to our with a
Well
sort of
built.
very short hair.
Deep voice. That's Willy X from Polytantric and they've been after him for a long while.
But it was definitely a group that actually picked him out. It wasn't just a normal arrest. They picked him out.
Was it a decision by the senior officers or was it a couple of guys picking him out because they didn't like him? Do you think?
In my mind, I think there's a particular group of policemen that actually do know the people involved with organising such
Yeah, the
festivals
intelligence people.
and call them a tactical support group or something, but they go in and they get their men. That's why the police line was put in front and they came from the police line, grabbed him, and then the police line closed behind. And most of the other policemen seemed to be sort of oblivious to what was actually going on. People were shouting and saying, "Look, that is not right. We're witnessing someone having their face smashed in by you lot."
And weren't the 2 more people arrested after that, trying to save Willy?
I think they were, but I
You
was
didn't see
amongst one of the people that was trying to save Willy,
Right.
and I was just trying to get in there and do
And
my
they
bit.
didn't want to know about you, I take it. I mean, like... as long
Well,
as-
I've tried to force up against the line,
Come on.
and basically I didn't want to force it too
Right.
much. Otherwise,
We've lent it out.
I could have been arrested myself.
If we can find out who we've lent it to, we'll give it you.
Well, I'll ask because it's the
Purple VW's got it.
Purple Volkswagen bothered it.
Right on. Cheers.
Well, what I'd like to do is give Willy X and Release and Festival Aid and all that a copy of this tape with a view to building up a court case against them bastards who did it. Now, it's up to you if you want to give your name and address and not, you know what's involved if you do or not. That's up to you.
Yeah, my name's Alistair Child. I live at Lodge Park Manor, Treddle, Mahuncliffe.
Say the last bit again.
Treddle, Mahuncliffe.
How the hell do you spell that?
TRE dash
Yeah.
RODDOL.
Yeah.
And Huncliffe,
That's
that was
pretty
me,
obvious,
it's
isn't it?
MACHYCELLDH.
Right, and where's that? Wales.
Powys, Mid Wales.
Right, are you on the phone?
No.
Right. That's really good. Well, what I'll do, I'll send you a copy of this tape as well, and I'll keep you totally informed. I'll pass on to Willy. It won't fall into the wrong hands, but at some point, hopefully, it's going to be used in court.
Have we actually got pictures on
Yes,
site
we've
of?
got a guy, a mate of mine actually, who is, I believe, got a photograph of him actually on the deck.
Mm.
You know, when it was actually happening.
But was there any of him with the blood?
Well, if you hang on here, I'll get him in here now, and we can sort this out.
Provoking a potential violent situation by taking the leader out, or the man that was organising at the front, and smashing his face into the ground in front of the people. They were actually provoking a violent situation, that the people were peaceful enough and restrained enough to just tell them that they were out of order.
Absolutely furious about it. I wanted to sit down on the fucking road and not move until them guys came back from hospital.
Mm. And at that particular time, there was more of us than there were policemen.
Mm. Do you not think they had them around the corner?
I actually spoke to the chief superintendent shortly afterwards, and he said that he did have 300 men that he was not going to bring in at that particular moment because he didn't see that the situation was flaring up at all.
Thought he'd already done too much.
But they actually had provoked the situation to flare up anyway, and people didn't flare up. So,
But 300 would have been in there, we'd have flared.
yeah.
So do you think it was a decision on the part of the head copper to authorise that snatch of Willy?
That I couldn't say or be sure of, but if he's in charge,
He's got to take
because
responsibility.
policemen have leaders, then
It's like the army,
he is
isn't it?
responsible for any decision that was made.
Right. Do you know the head pig at that point? Do you know his name?
I don't know his
No.
name, but I knew his chief superintendent from the lapel badges.
Who's that guy who came to the meeting in the middle of the road? Is that him?
That is the chief
He gave his
superintendent.
name as
That-
being green.
That is the chief
He said he
superintendent.
wasn't there at the time.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Was he there? Have you any idea?
No idea at all.
What was did you note the reaction of the other police when they did that?
The other police, when
When
they
the
closed
snatch
the
happened?
line,
Well,
they
yeah,
closed
were
the
they
line.
surprised that someone had suddenly issued violence?
they didn't seem too surprised, otherwise they wouldn't have been together enough to just sort of casually form another line so that nobody else could get through and help him.
The other thing was, they said that they were not stopping us from going along that road, but surely they were, because the only reason we stopped was because they'd blocked the fucking road off.
Mm.
And yet they were saying you're free to go along this road.
Well, the situation was we weren't actually in the convoy at that particular time, right, when the convoy was coming up towards the junction. Now the road at the side road that we eventually did come down was
Left.
blocked,
Yeah.
right? And we were in a green van, and we came up behind because we were actually looking for the convoy, which we found
Yeah.
just by sort of homing in on it.
Yeah.
And by pure coincidence, we turned down the road, and the convoy was the other side of the road, and then there's the junction that we'd come round, and the police cars suddenly didn't know what was happening, and they followed our vehicle out of the road that they were blocking, and then some of the convoy just sort of moved forward and actually turned into the junction, and we doubled back, turned round in the hotel, and sort of quickly dashed back at full speed to where the convoy was after sort of dispersing their little roadblock.
Do you know what actually?
Otherwise they would have carried on saying, right, you can carry on along this main road all the way out the county until you've run out of petrol, and then you'll all have to go home.
Us back in the same direction that we came from. Really?
Well, we did seem to end up at the same point we were last night.
We look back.
We went in a whole fucking circle.
Yeah.
We're only about 2-3 miles away from where we were.
Yeah.
But this is the area we want to be in anyway, really.
Yeah.
More like their tactic to make us use all the petrol and stuff and get us pissed off.
There's someone else in a statement.
G'day stuff. G'day. Talking about lunchtime today when Willy X got beaten up by the pigs in front of all of us. What can you say in your own words?
Well, what I saw was I looked over the police van and saw 6 policemen. Well, 2 by 2. There was 2 at first, then another 2, and then another 2, rubbing his face on the tarmac. Actually rubbing his face into it.
How were they holding him?
Over, sort of. They were all.
Did they hold his head?
Yeah, sort of by the shoulders,
Yeah.
one by the head,
Yeah.
one by the sort of
Yeah.
middle of the back, and then you could see them sort of laying their fists into his back.
Yeah.
There was just one stood up kicking him. There was no more kicking him, there was just one that I saw kicking him. Then there was just dragging him sort of further up this little grass banking, and they never stopped sort of actually hitting him the time he was on the ground.
And did you see him hit them at any point?
No, I never saw him hit them. I think he was totally incapable
Yeah.
because he was laid on his stomach.
Was he virtually
on the floor.
senseless? What you implied.
Well, I've no idea whether he was senseless, but I think he was just too shocked to actually retaliate. Well, with there being 6 onto 1,
Yeah.
I think it's totally impossible to retaliate.
Well, yeah. And the 2 that made a move, do you think they were acting under orders or did they just snap?
What, the first 2?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they were under orders. They just sort of jumped in quick, sort of. Well, I never saw anyone. I saw a policeman with grey hair, sort of. He was like the sergeant, and he was sort of showing people what to do, showing the policemen what to do, sort of, or line up and that. But I
Yeah.
never saw him sort of point to Willy and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
get him," sort of thing. I think they did it on their own.
Yeah, they obviously knew him. We've got a photograph of the incident, so we
Oh,
can
God.
analyse it a lot further when we get that developed.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened when they got him in the van?
Well, all I saw was I tried to get closer to the van to see him, sort of, but I only saw him being sort of pushed over into the van, so no one could obviously take
And did you see
photographs.
much blood before he went in the van?
All I saw was when he stood up, his face was just covered in blood, and his t-shirt at the front, and then a policeman's uniform at the back, sitting in a van, was also covered in blood as well. That was what made me very annoyed.
Yeah.
Because 6 to 1 is just not fair. I mean, he was only trying to say what he felt. He didn't deserve to be beaten.
Yeah.
He was only saying the truth.
Yeah. Had he tried to go beyond their boundary, or had he done anything that they could have interpreted as a real bad act?
No, all he did was walk over towards them to sort of,
Yeah.
well,
so-
maybe he was shouting at them, yeah.
Yeah.
But all he was doing was trying to stress a point that we wanted to go down this road,
Yeah.
which was fair enough. There's nothing wrong with saying what you feel.
Well, you're the 4th person who said exactly the same thing now independently,
Yeah.
so there's no coercion in this. I mean, it's just a spur of the moment thing. I can't really think of too many things to ask. I was there, but I didn't see the incident. Would you be prepared to give your name and address for the purpose of this being a court action?
Well, do I have to?
You don't have to.
No,
I'll
I'd
just
rather not.
Okay, fair enough. That's great. Well, I won't even ask you in confidence because that's the best way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got 2 names and 2 anonymous. That's a good start. Good start. Is there any organisation I can contact you through? Just to let you know what's happening.
Well,
I don't want your name, but
Bristol Housing Action Movement.
okay. If you want to give us that address, then I'll
Yeah.
just send leaflets there and keep up to date on what's happening. Do you know Willy? Well,
No, I don't know him,
yeah, you see,
but sort of.
he's a pretty close friend of mine. I was really upset about it.
I couldn't believe it. It happens just so quickly. You stood there a minute and then it just went, and everyone was on him. My friend got punched as well.
Yeah, who's that?
No, Alison. I don't know where she's
Right.
at the moment, but she got quite badly hit as well.
Did you see what happened after Willy got in? 2 other people got arrested.
Did I what?
Didn't 2 other people get arrested after Willy got arrested?
Yeah, I thought there was just one.
Well, I don't know. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. No, I walked down the road
Yeah.
that we were not supposed to go.
Yeah. If you put some kind of nickname down, then if I put that on the envelope, then you can. Really?
Yeah, there's going to be a band on tonight.
Really? Do you know who?
Culture Shock.
Yeah.
Sort of like
Red Light Ashton Court.
Oh.
Did you see the
Give me a
incident?
bite, I didn't notice your face. Didn't notice your face when I walked in.
I was there, but I didn't actually witness the action. Yeah. I've got a lot of hearsay, but
Where?
Witnessing this.
we're
Yeah.
going to get them for this. I mean, they've just gone
It's just
totally
not
too
really,
far.
it's just not fair.
No.
In the 70s, they hounded
The thing
organisers
is,
to the
he's
same
one of the
extent
main
that people
leaders,
have died.
organisers
Yeah,
of
I've
peace
heard
convoy.
that, yeah. He's been doing it for 15 years, hasn't he?
He's been doing it for a damn long time, but he hasn't hidden the fact, and it is at some point inevitable that something like this would happen. But I mean, for them to do it in front of all these witnesses, it is just total stupidity on their part, and I think they've made a mistake that could
I don't
lead
know
to their
if
downfall.
were the press there.
They didn't.
The press
I think
were
they came
there,
late.
but they weren't allowed to film.
So they must have
They
been
said
told
on-
in
did you
advance
hear what they
that
said
there's
on the
something
news?
going to go down. No. Well,
They said on the news that he fell. I was just so fucking angry. How can they say? I mean, obviously, if the press or the public see him, they're gonna know he hasn't fallen.
Well, they probably used the attitude that none of us would get any kind of court case together, and that if we did, we wouldn't give our names, we'd be too scared, and that if we did give our names, we'd be totally discredited, and that there'd only be like 1 witness. But if we can get like 20 fucking witnesses, and then there's only a couple of pigs who say.
Oh
he
yeah,
fell.
there was a fellow who came tonight.
Yeah.
Have you seen him yet?
Don't think so. No.
He's from the Methodist Church, and he says that if anyone's
Is he
really
fairly
ill,
straight? Yeah. I mean, is he
With
a good
glasses.
witness?
well, what he said was to us tonight. He said, if anyone's really ill, he's got a church hall that we can stay in, sort of for the night if
Yeah.
we don't want to sleep out in the open. And if we get any hassle whatsoever, we have to ring him up and he'll come down and be a witness.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't actually see this incident.
Oh, he didn't see this one. No, he just lives up there, up the road.
Well, we put in hands
That
of
fella in
release
the
and
tractor must
festival
have obviously
welfare.
seen it. But I mean, we've got no
He
way of
would-
tracking him down.
Well, I don't think he would give
It's
evidence.
a pity no one got like stuff like the truck drivers' registrations or anything like that. Or,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah,
trucks
I
they
never
commandeer
thought
to
of
block
that.
the road, like.
Yeah, shit. We should have been writing things down if we knew it.
I mean, saying he fell is just the limit.
Totally, yeah.
That is just so
Was
silly.
that on TV or radio?
Now the news,
Radio.
probably on the radio, probably. Yeah.
How can you say something about covered in blood like you
Yeah.
know, you could fall out of it.
Well, we've got written evidence.
Oh, can I have one of
Yeah,
those?
sure. Just
We've
gonna
got
offer you one.
taped evidence, and we're going to have photographic evidence that he was assisted in his fall into the ground by 6 policemen, who then trod on his head.
Made
I think
sure
it
he
need
was
be
on
hard
the
to
ground,
witness
yeah.
it as well, you know.
I wish I'd seen that. I would have taken to it.
Because I was showing you, you're wrong, you're wrong. What are you doing it for?
I was actually shouting at them at the time, we'll have you bastards. You
Yeah.
got over this.
Because I was
Didn't William
talking to
though,
one
did it?
policeman.
He laughed at me when I said it.
I talked to one policeman and I said to him, you're so scared of the truth. As soon as you hear the truth, you just try and stop it.
When that line of policemen was there, right, that had lined up, I went right the way along the line, looking close right up against all their eyes. And every single one turned away.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. But then
I
they
was
turn back when you
staring
stop
straight.
looking.
Yeah.
They note you.
Mm.
They had numbers on as well, didn't they?
Yeah. There's only one number I know. There's only one number I know, and that's the one
They had
is
one.
it the inspector
In a way,
with the
Yeah,
white
what-
shirt?
what
that
is that number?
That we can
691.
sit here festivising,
691.
right, and they're right in front of us.
Yeah.
Because it's just a case of you're watching us, we're watching you, you're watching us.
I'm not happy with it. Should be a no-go zone for them. We've always had no-go zone in the past, haven't we?
But they've always come out with the fact that, oh, it's a no-go zone because they're dangerous.
Yeah.
They've got axes, they've got chainsaws, and you know they're the shotgun convoy, you know, and that's why they've said, oh, it's no-go for the police. They're too dangerous. But here we are.
All the
Well,
public
you
we've
know, we're
spoken
letting them
to
walk.
have been beautiful. They've given
Yeah.
us cups of tea.
Really good.
Yeah.
Said hello.
And why did they
said
say their
bye
names?
Even
and
some of
chasing
their
you.
kids have come up on the site
Mm.
and they've been saying, well, we've been watching the news and following everything, and
And that guy
we're
came
really-
out with them before the bomb bugs. Did you catch that? It was a guy where we were camping. This guy wrote this before the bomb book, and he came out while we were travelling, and he started handing them out free. He's an old guy, and then he invited people in to have a wash and things in his house. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we got a big bag full of cans of Coke
Yeah.
given to us at Salisbury, yeah.
yes, yesterday when we was down at the lay-by,
Mm.
'cause we were in a lay-by at Boroughbridge, the remains of the convoy, and the Hare Krishna people came down and they just set up next to the road. The two of them are here today. They've got a sort of symbol painted across their nose, right? And they just sat down and cooked us a meal and said, oh, come over. Not particularly, like, as far as my meals go, which is far better,
I've
right?
heard a few people say that, yeah.
Were you a Stonycross then?
No, I wasn't
You went with
Stony
the
Cross.
convoy, peace convoy.
Well, I am sort of with them, but I couldn't make it down to the New Forest at all because they just weren't letting other vehicles in at the time. And I had £60 of cheese that had been given to me to run down there, and you know there was no way they was going to let us through there. There was a lot of free food that just did not get down there, and they did the march, and I met up with them at Glastonbury. We managed to run in loads of herbal remedies. What's that? The naturopath remedies, and the ones.
Homeopathic.
Homeopathic
Yeah,
remedies. We
Yeah,
ran
that's
in loads
right,
of
yeah.
them. And well, it's my mum that had given me all these things anyway. Who's now become a dedicated supporter of the peace convoy and the people.
They'll find there's more of them than more of us than them.
Were you at the Salisbury demonstration?
Well, no, we got to Salisbury in the afternoon, and there's no one there because they built out that law saying that you couldn't have an assembly on market day.
Oh, we
didn't
did have
know
one.
anything. Well, apparently
But we had
police
to
told
stop it at
everyone
two.
they had to move or they would be arrested because of that.
There was two
stupid
old
law.
women and they were giving speeches. I mean, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of guts to give speeches in front of an audience and the people that you're speaking for. She was speaking so, you know, she was saying, oh, why are you doing this to these people, speaking to the police and that, and we'll go through.
Was this
Yeah.
convoy split today?
No,
Yeah,
a lot of
it
vehicles,
was
they
split,
tried
yeah.
to split it, but they
Didn't
didn't
succeed,
succeed, but the vehicles broke down. And then in the end, we decided that because of the breakdowns and the walkers and the distance, that we had to send the vehicles ahead and then they'd take the site and then come back and ferry the workers to here. And that's what happened. The vehicles took the site and most of us walked here and we got picked up when we got nearly here. And I think there's still a few broken down vehicles maybe that haven't made it. And we have motorbikes going backwards and forwards, sorting everything out.
Yeah, we had the
But-
CBs on board. And
Yeah, we
I've,
had a
in
lot of
fact,
trouble with the
I've-
back one, or the front one.
Yeah. Well, there was one which was a handset which wasn't very good. That was on the motorcycle.
Mm.
but I've got a tape recording of all the police messages.
Oh, beautiful. We can
Right.
copy it here. We've got 2
Yes.
I haven't listened to it yet. 'Cause I don't know it. I don't know how good it is.
Yeah, it might
But it sort of says things like, "Oh, we can't give that information over the air,"
Yeah.
and things like that. You know, it's a full tape recording.
No, if you find any, give us a shout.
The only person on the camp is sold out.
Yeah, we don't. People on.
Before you stop.
Guys, apparently you've seen it all there.
Yeah, just say exactly what you said.
Just from when it starts, you know, how you...
I didn't see the starting. Is it running?
Yeah.
I didn't see where it first started. And
When did you walk up, you know, when did you first see anything happening?
the first thing I saw happening was a guy in a yellow t-shirt or in a yellow top. He was being dragged away from me, away from a group of people. Oh, I need to draw a map to show exactly what happened.
Because, you know...
Explain what you're
I'm
drawing.
drawing a main road with the left turning.
Yeah,
Is that from time around?
it is on.
Is it?
The guy was dragged I saw the guy being dragged from about where this cross is, and I was stood around here where the dot is,
Yeah,
and I saw him being dragged in the direction of the arrow
that's right, yeah.
towards where a little circle is. And then I saw, this is map number 1. I'll draw a map number 2.
I took one. I was on my phone and the cop was stepped in front and I don't know if I got it or not.
On map number 2, after he'd been dragged towards the corner where the circle is, instantly a line of policemen formed where this line is, and that was instantly, and it struck me as though it was planned. And I saw between, I think it was between 5 or 8 maybe, policemen on top of this guy, turned him over with his face in the ground and pushed his head onto the ground and jostling his arm unnecessarily behind his back with the handcuffs.
Did he in any way hiss or kick or anything, any of the other policemen? Did Willy kick or hiss any of the policemen to provoke an attack?
I didn't see him provoke,
No, you
and I didn't see him kick,
hit
and I didn't
or
see him
kick
hit.
No. What was...
It looked as though he was struggling, but that was after he had his face pushed into the ground.
Did you see him? Did you see his face when they lifted him up off the ground?
Not instantly, but
Did you see his face at any time after they'd rubbed his face in the ground?
just after they had got the handcuffs on him and taken him away, I saw him turn round where the cross on the map number 2 is, and he turned round, and this was only about 30 seconds to a minute after they had first got him, and he turned round and his face was covered in blood,
Excellent.
and then they took him away.
Did you see anybody else arrested or taken away?
I didn't see anybody else actually taken away. I saw another person just before this incident happened, jostled by the police, but I think he got away.
That's fine, that,
And I also saw a girl being pushed away by the police who was trying to get to this guy who was being beaten up in the yellow shirt.
That'll be Alice who got hit as well.
Yeah. Is she?
I didn't
I'll
actually
get
see
her
her
in a
get
minute.
hit, but I saw her being pushed.
yeah,
Right.
okay, that's fine.
If you're prepared to stand up in court, then give me your name and address into this.
My name's Robert James Child,
Right.
and I live in Wales.
Right, do you want to give us your address?
Lodgepot Manor,
Yeah.
Treddle,
Yeah.
McCumphliffe, Mid Wales.
Great stuff. The plan is that I'm going to copy this tape tonight and give it to a guy who's going down to the court case tomorrow morning, and he's going to tell Willy that we've got statements of loads of people and that he should not plead guilty to breach the peace, and that we're going to go all the way on this one.
I will be prepared to stand up in court tomorrow.
No, you don't have to do that. I don't think, because I think it'll be adjourned if he doesn't plead guilty.
If he pleads not guilty, they'll adjourn it, won't he?
Well, yeah, I mean, they can't get a case together tomorrow morning because they haven't called witnesses.
Yeah.
So, it won't be a case going down tomorrow, but it's going to be a case of sometime in the future you might have to,
But because I live a long way away, it's going to be an awful lot of hassle if
Well,
I do
yeah,
want to stand
right,
up in court, so I might not be able to make it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I would, because I was disgusted.
Well, what I'd like to do is, as soon as I get home, I'm going to type all these out. I'll send you copies. You can sign them, and that'll be like a witness affidavit that you can get a solicitor to witness. And then you shouldn't have to go to court because it's all down in print with your signature. And I think the police think that we're so together that we're not, you know, we're not going to say boo to them because we're too shit scared. But we've had about half a dozen people saying that they will back this up. You know, they're not going to. They might intimidate one, but they're not going to intimidate all the witnesses. If they do, they're in fucking trouble. I think they've made a mistake here, and this mistake is going to be
Expensive.
a bit of a downfall for them. We've got to get this out to the media as well. All that the courts have got is like what the police say, which is that he fell.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's got to get out to the media.
Oh, definitely.
Do
Well,
you know we watched the news tonight in the pub?
did you?
There wasn't a fucking thing. BBC One, and BBC were down there filming us.
Yeah, but they were
Not
told
a
not to
thing.
film that.
His face was pushed into the ground before they got the handcuffs on.
Right.
But
Because I saw him sort of pushed into the ground, you know.
Couldn't believe it when I heard it.
don't you think we should go for these Channel 4 people that made this documentary?
I
That
do.
are all right, and make a sort of statement to be put out saying what we are and what our intentions are. And
I definitely do. I don't know if we can get it together in the next day or two though. Willie's going to get remanded on bail if we can get surety. So we've got other people trying to get people who've got money to give a thing
But you know,
saying that they can stand bail.
before it gets too late, potentially
Yeah.
before we get disbanded,
Yeah.
it's got to come out that we're totally peaceful and all we want is the right to be able to do this if we want to. We
Yeah,
aren't being
right, yeah.
hassled.
Well,
And you know,
well, we have been getting this out, haven't we? I mean,
not
hang on.
really, not really. I don't
Is that
think that much.
statement satisfactory, or do you need more detail?
Did you
Well,
did you witness
I
this
haven't really got
incident
a
with
lot of
Willy?
detail.
Yeah, I know.
Come
But
in.
if it's what you saw, that's okay kind of thing.
We're taking statements off everyone. You can either do it anonymously or give your name and address, and we're going to use them in court, and we're going to fuck the pigs.
It looked to
for
me
doing what
though
they
as
did to
though
Willy.
they had planned to pick him out.
Yes, this is what we've got to expose.
Well, you've got to get this bloke Dave and what
I'll
the
do
cop
it
has
later.
said to him.
I think what I was about to say.
I haven't had Dave
Well,
in here yet.
no, right. This bloke Dave, when he was finding this site for us, right? He was doing a lot of work all night and everything.
Yeah.
And he came back into the little road we were in just before we left, and all there was foot coppers on the place that we'd had access to and from the village all day, and they wouldn't let him go through. They told him he had to go around the other way, and they said, "We don't like you bastards," or something to that effect. "We're going to fuck you up." And that was just all these foot coppers, and it was all foot coppers that did the whole thing.
Thing is, that's just one against one, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
What we've got here is a dozen against them.
Mm.
It's not just one statement.
Yeah,
This is
well,
why we've got a
but
good
I was
chance.
also right next to Willy when he was arrested, when he was taken off.
Right, you haven't given a statement yet. Are you prepared to give your name and address to it?
Yeah.
Right, well, tell us in your own words exactly what happened.
Well, I came up. I got just beside him, just as everyone started shouting a lot, and there was coppers linking arms across, and one copper was standing just in front of them, and Willy was standing to my left, and everybody was shouting, and he was shouting, except his voice is pretty loud. And
Was he swearing?
Christ, I can't remember. I mean, everybody was doing the same thing.
There's no violence there, was
No,
there?
there was
Right,
no
yeah.
violence. Everyone was shouting. That was all. And a copper on my right-hand side said, "Get him." And two coppers grabbed hold of him and dragged him off.
Was it a normal copper or a head copper?
God, I can't
Yeah.
remember because it was
Oh, I
just
know
so
what it was like, I
confused,
know.
you know.
I was there myself. I didn't
Yeah.
actually witness the incident.
But he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't doing anything more than anybody else was doing, shouting. And that was it. and it looked to me like it's pretty preconceived, really, though.
Yeah, this is what we think. Yeah.
Anyway, they dragged him off. They about 4 or 5 of them started smashing him up on the ground, and I managed to take a photo, but I don't know because a copper went and stood in front of me just as I took it, so I don't know if I got it or not.
Yeah.
Then they dragged him off up to this van, and there's also somebody here who saw him being beaten up inside the van. He was the only person who saw it, I think.
Yeah.
With his
Right.
legs handcuffed and his arms handcuffed.
Did you see it?
No, it's a
Dave
friend
did.
of ours.
Right.
saw it in the
I'll have to have a word with him.
Dave's name.
He
Well-
won't. No, he won't be able to give his name.
Yeah,
and
well, that's
address,
fair enough. You see, the anonymous stuff I plan to type out and send out anonymously,
Yeah.
just to educate people, but not to use in court.
Yeah.
And the people who've given me names,
Pity
I'd like
that
that
because
to be
you know
used in
I
court,
don't know
please.
if anybody else saw that, but he was standing right there and he saw 2 coppers smashing him up badly and with his arms and legs both handcuffed.
I'm not getting away with this.
No.
Just tape on. They wanted it.
Yeah.
They definitely wanted it. I mean, he went down to break up all that hassle.
Yeah.
And the police started
They started
messing
really
around with some
aggravating.
people in the front of the
Yeah.
of the crowd, and he started shouting at them to leave him alone. And the whole crowd started shouting, and he got pushed into them by everyone else. He just got pushed into the police, you know, and everyone was edging.
Yeah, but what we want to establish is that he didn't get trashed because he ended up being pushing into them.
Oh no!
That wasn't the reason
No,
that he
not
got
at all.
trashed.
He was standing. He wasn't. He was just
He wasn't
standing
pushed
there.
into them.
No, no,
Right.
no way.
Another witness here.
Definitely not.
Okay, can you squeeze in by the...
Yeah,
gonna
he was,
go
he
out.
was just standing next to me, and the copper he was shouting at was standing about a foot away from him, and this copper was surrounded by everybody, including Willy, and they were all shouting.
I'll go and
And
get
there was
Dave
no
there.
pushing at all.
I'll go get Dave.
He just, you know, and then they just said, "Get in," meaning Willy.
And did you see him fight back?
He struggled a bit,
But he
not
didn't
fighting.
lash out?
No, no, no,
Right.
definitely not. I mean, like 2 coppers grabbed him, like one each side of him, and like dragged him off, and then a load just closed in.
And did you see them push his face into the floor?
Well, I just saw them sort of pummel him about. I
Did you
can't
see
remember.
much blood?
Yes, when they dragged him off and they lifted him up, they were just dragging him up the road and there's blood all down one side of his face.
Was there any on the police?
Oh yes, there was a hell of a lot on the police
Oh,
officers.
his blood, yeah.
The
Fucking
police
right there was.
officer's uniform was soaked with blood.
Yeah.
I almost got a picture of it through the van. I was, you know, but there was somebody else being arrested at the same time who was being struggled down on the floor, so I got a picture of that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I was trying to get a picture of everybody who was.
It's fucking
you know.
amazing. My film ran out on that photo. So pissed off. What I'd like is, if it's possible, at some point we ought to make a collection and get money for films for people who've got cameras. Because there's a lot of people who've got cameras.
I think people
and
with
I don't
cameras
have
have
a penny.
been, well, I don't know, the people that have been taking a lot of pictures of all the police staff encountered in the past 2 days, and I think a lot of people are doing that anyway. I don't think they need funds for doing that because, like, you know, you can't
Yeah, it's
afford
just-
that yourself.
I know, no, I don't have a penny. It's just that in
No,
that
well, I mean,
situation then,
People
it
who've
would
got
have been
cameras
really
usually,
good.
well, yeah, I mean,
My brother's got
'Cause
a
there was-
camera, he hadn't got a film, no money to buy it. Did you say
There is, you know, there's a
photographs
lot
with
of
a
people that
Yes,
don't have any money
we've
at
got
all.
like
He's got
3 or 4,
photographs,
5, 3.
well, they're not going to repeat this
photographs of
incident,
people.
are they? They're
Yeah.
going to be very fucking
Yeah.
careful now, so they're not going to repeat
We were
it,
sitting
so-
in the van right at the front.
The thing I want to say is that, to me, it looked as though it was planned because he was taken down to the corner and put on the ground, and so instantly that line of coppers went bump. It was there as though it was planned.
Well, I think we can prove this with the evidence that we've now got.
Anyway,
Um,
I reckon the main thing is we don't have enough publicity at the moment. We don't have any publicity. There's fuck all. There was something on. There was just about nothing on any radio.
It's
One.
probably
There was something on Bristol
they know
today.
what's happening, I think, but I think the government has said don't use it.
I don't know. The only people we can use obviously these Channel 4 people. And it'd be a really good idea if we could work out some sort of statement to give to them, and also to say everything we want to say, and then ask somebody for a site.
Well,
Is
yesterday
there
we had
anybody
a
that's
collection for
into it?
phone money for the
It's
lad
got
on
a
the
fan
bike
in
to
it.
go out and
Yes,
speak
well that's
to all the
Dave. That's the
person
one. Yeah.
on the
He did all-
motorbike.
yeah, he did all that.
Yeah, I'll be speaking to him later, and I'll be giving him this tape to take to court tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you
Yes,
saying
I'm
you're
going
Willy's
with him.
witness?
Yeah,
Willy's
I'm his
sister.
sister. Yeah.
Great stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I don't know how you can stand on that one because I think they'll know if he's got family.
Well,
They know
go for
everything,
it.
don't they? But go for it, yeah. But look, what you got to emphasise is he mustn't plead guilty. I know he won't anyway, but no one must plead guilty to the slightest
He's not
charge.
guilty of anything.
Well, we know this, but I
Yeah,
mean, if he
but I
thinks I
mean-
can do the festival if I plead guilty
I
and get a
bloody
fine,
hope
fine, that's not what we want.
I almost bloody managed to be able to go and visit him tonight.
Mm.
And then this bloke who was all right on the phone talked to his bloke who was above him, who said no way. Just wants him back. Which is really annoying because that would have helped a lot of things if I could have done that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and they said
Did
there's no way
you-
I can see him before court tomorrow either.
Did you need another statement or?
Well, I think the more the better. And
Right,
if
yeah.
I don't know if you prefer to give your name or not, but
Oh yeah, I'll give my name. There's just I can't give any way of contacting me because the only way of contacting me is through the convoy. I don't have an address. You know.
have you got a care of?
I don't have a
Yeah,
care of. I
kind
don't
of
have
contact
anything.
No.
I don't keep in contact with my family or nothing.
See, that's not going to stand up in court, is it?
What?
If you haven't got a fixed address, then
Oh, I can use my. I've got relatives that I
can you
can.
use your parents, something like that. I can't.
Well, I can use my relatives' address if they really need. I mean,
Well, they won't accept it without.
Well, okay, I've got an address, 312 Wendover. I mean, that's been my address every time I go to jail. It's 312 Wendover. I mean, I was squatting there.
Oh,
and
well,
I've
we'll
got
use that. That's
legal-
perfect, though.
Oh yeah, I've got something I can, but you can't reach me.
Yeah,
there, is what I'm
no.
saying. You know what I mean?
But they won't know that.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Look,
but I'll be able to see you
All right,
with
well,
the tape.
we're
I'll
over
see
there.
Dave.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
and see
you're
Dave,
with
'cause he's over there as
Christoph
well.
and Dave, aren't you?
No,
Sort of in the
well,
middle.
there's a red Volkswagen
By Christoph's, yeah.
over
Do you know
there.
where Christoph's is?
Yeah, I know what Christoph's is.
Anyway, you'll
Well,
find
yeah,
us.
so-
all right?
Okay, great stuff.
There's
Well, if you see me looking and I don't see you, give us a shout.
There's quite a few people.
And we'll fuck
there
them on
who's
this
talking.
one. We really will.
Yeah, fucking dead right.
Look at that, police just watching. No. I'll see you watching. Jesus, there's a lot of pigs there now.
I was sitting in the very front van, and that was right by the roadblock. You know, they'd reached in and took our keys out of the ignition, and so you know we were right in front, and of course you had the line of police blocking off the people, and everybody was yelling and screaming, and they grabbed a person who has been identified now as Willy. But they grabbed him from the crowd. 2 policemen grabbed him, took him away, and then they all jumped on him. Okay, he was struggling, of course, because you know when you're being hit, you struggle. I mean, you know, you try and
But
put
you
your
didn't
arms
actually
in front
hit
of him.
them.
No. He was trying to,
Yeah.
you know, cover up like this,
Yeah.
but they were holding his arms away from him,
Yeah.
and he was, you know, just
Trying to hide his
yeah,
face.
just trying to curl up and, you know, cover himself. And they, I saw a large amount of blood on his face. I saw a large amount of blood on the police officer's uniform, both outside and inside the van. We got 2 pictures of him on the floor with the police officers on top of him. I don't know how well he can be identified in the pictures. You know, we haven't seen the pictures yet, obviously. But that's what I saw.
There's quite a few photographs, and I think with all of them together, you're going to get a damn good picture.
Oh yeah,
Identify the
we.
policeman.
They had numbers
Oh
on as
yeah,
well. That was weird, wasn't it?
yeah. In fact, the police officer who took our keys was W80, which is how he got them back, because we ended up telling the chief police person that it was He was saying, "Who's got the keys?" And I told him W80's got them, and he turned around and went and then came back with them.
Why did he take the keys? Did he give you a reason?
Okay, there was we were sitting there, right, and they just made their little block, you know, linked arms and said stop, okay, before we could get around the corner, and we had people yelling through our window, you know, just go through, okay, and obviously we weren't prepared to drive through the police, you know, so. All of us, you know, that person was yelling through, and I guess the police officer got, you know,
He thought you were going through city.
thought, you know, that we were going to drive through, so he just, you know, reached around and took the key straight out of the ignition.
It's crazy because afterwards they said they were not stopping us from going up there.
I know! They were, you know, it didn't make any sense whatsoever. We couldn't figure it out.
Oh, no.
But oh shit.
It's totally fucking crazy.
But that's what I saw. That's what happened.
Did you see this incident that was horrified us all? With Willy.
I don't know what I saw. I was on top of a transit van just trying to take pictures of anything.
See, we're trying to build up a court case against these fuckers, and the only way we can do it is by getting loads of statements that have all said the same thing, that Willy got trashed for no reason. You know, that's what I think we should do.
I reckon
We've
he
also
got
got
trashed because he's like a head of the
because he's
community.
Willy X, yeah. And I was with him yesterday when he gave his name for Chief Super as Willy X, and that he was a kind of spokesman, and the guy was definitely to him. And today they fucking do this. And he's been charged of breach of the peace tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Breach of the peace. What's that?
Breach of the peace.
What actually is that offence? What do you have to do to quote unquote breach of the peace?
Shout, I would think. You know, anything that breaches the peace.
There wasn't any shit.
What peace?
So, that happened.
Well, you know, breach of the peace is irrelevant when they've kicked shit out of him, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about a major assault here, not a breach of the peace.
We're going to try and say that, aren't we?
Yeah, but he's
Yeah,
going
he
to
was
plead
really-
not guilty. He's going to have the best defence that the police can back him up with in festival welfare. With these statements and with the photographs.
Yeah, what are we
going
going to do about getting them developed
Well,
as
what
soon
I
as possible?
what I advise with the photographs is that everyone keep hold of their own, get them developed as quick as they can, keep them negatives, send prints to release festival welfare, and
Double
Willy
print them.
personally, and anyone else who you think really needs them.
Yeah,
Leave
yeah,
the next,
yeah,
stash
yeah.
them in case you get hit.
2 prints of them.
Yeah. All right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because then
Don't give them
everybody's-
to anyone.
Yeah,
You know,
all right.
I'm gonna copy this tape. Give one copy to the guy who's going to court tomorrow morning at 10 with Willy's alleged sister, and I'm gonna keep the other copy myself.
I'm
Anyway,
not. I'll tell you quite honestly. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that's a good idea, just because of the fact
but they might
that
take it off him.
if they do check and see, that she isn't his sister,
Yeah.
then that is gonna. Then they're going to
It's gonna
use that and
discredit
say,
us.
well, look, these guys are lying about this.
Alright,
they're
well,
going to be lying about
that's
this.
some-
They're going to be collaborating and all this.
Well, the
So I
idea
just-
of the sister thing is not something that I thought of. It's something that was done a lot earlier in the day, and I just thought, right, I'll do this. And the
I
fact
really
is
don't
that,
think it's a good idea.
well,
'Cause
I
it'll
feel
be
that
used
you should
against
tell
us.
her and the guy who's taking her, Dave. You should tell them this because
Where are
I'm
they?
inclined to agree with you, but
I mean, well, I don't want
I
to
said
just
to
go
her,
to it by myself. I mean,
well,
if
no, I
it's-
don't. But I did say to her just a few minutes ago. I said it's quite likely that they'll know that Willy has or hasn't got brothers and sisters.
yeah,
That being
and
the case, then
it's
not
gonna,
gonna work.
And she just said,
well, we'll go for
it's
it.
going to screw up her testimony, and because
It's
of the
gonna
fact that her
discredit the whole
testimony is the
thing.
same as everybody else's,
Yeah.
it's going to screw up everybody else's, and it's going to sound. I mean, it's already going to be. I mean, it's already the first thing they're going to say is, well, look, they all got together and they all decided this.
Yeah.
So we're going to be fighting with that against us, and with that as well. I mean, all it takes is
One lie.
is
One lie.
one lie, and the
The whole thing's out the
prosecutor
window, innit?
just saying, look, they're all full of shit, and that screws everything up. I really think it's a very bad idea. I mean, inside it's just not good,
I agree.
and
But it's not for me to say. You see, I'm just trying to help matters. I'm not taking control.
yeah,
of
I
matters.
understand it, but I mean, how do we convey this across, without? Because I mean, I really strongly feel it. I mean, it's not just good and bad. It's just it's an inside feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You see, you can't be too pushy about it, and she's dead set on doing it, and they've got it all arranged, and they've made phone calls, and they almost got to see him today. But I think all they've got to do is say to Willy, how old's your sister? And they'll say 23, or I haven't got a sister or something, and then
Yeah.
they'll fault it.
Exactly.
I do agree with you, yeah. But I think the case will be adjourned anyway, so there won't be any evidence given. It's going to take us about a week to type this out and get the photos developed. So
Yeah.
Willy's got to plead not guilty, but I
Is he
agree
gonna get
with what you
bail?
say. Only if we can find someone who's got money and can say, right, I'll act as security, and I've got a piece of paper here to prove that I've got money.
Would a check do?
Well, usually with a check you have, nah, No. I mean, a cheque without a banker's card is worthless, and you couldn't get a banker's card to back up a cheque for the amount of money involved. They don't want the money off you. They just want.
Yeah, they just
you're
want
a
it as
house owner,
security. Yeah.
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
that person's going to be involved. In
Isn't okay? Isn't there
gotta be a straight
anybody? Is
person.
it okay? This is about the only thing that I can think of as far as getting money toward it, and that is anybody with a vehicle that the vehicle is registered in their name can put the vehicle up as a collateral.
Yeah. Well, I think
You know
what
what
we
I
need
mean?
is someone totally straight who's not actually involved like we are. You know,
Maybe
someone
a
who's
solicitor.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm sure Elise would have done all this. Really.
Well, you know,
done
some-
the homework. They've got to have done it.
Yeah, but oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's
We've
not
got
the
Elise's
solicitors,
festival
that's something.
welfare on it.
Yeah. Okay,
So
yeah.
it's just the sister thing we got to sort out.
Yeah, I think that is very important. I think that maybe like we should like sit her down.
Oh,
and
you and me
explain it.
go over and
Yeah.
because I don't want to do it on my own. Have you got any exact sort of?
Oh, my name is also Alex Campbell Margolis, born in Westminster, London.
Right, and do you want that to be known?
28/10/64.
And you're happy with that being stated?
Oh, that's fine with me. I'll go into court